And now, our story continues. It was after 10 o'clock at night when Corey Murdoch, the bus driver, turned out of the heavy rain and into the shelter of the hospital's emergency entrance. He still couldn't believe that they had actually made it safely back to Elkhorn City. Now that the drive-in from the cement plant was over, Corey allowed himself to think for a moment of what might have happened if Virginia Martin's plan hadn't worked. If the bus with the two seriously injured men as passengers had stalled in the badly flooded area of the highway. Yes, Corey thought, Miss Martin had certainly dared to take a big risk. At the hospital, young Dr. John Cabot was on duty when Corey Murdoch came running in. In the excitement of trying to tell Dr. Cabot about the explosion at the plant, of helping to move the injured men from the bus into the hospital, it was a few minutes before Corey Murdoch realized that Miss Martin was nowhere around. Dick Haggerty, the plant foreman who had ridden in with them, said that she had stepped out of the bus when Corey went into the hospital to get help. Puzzled, Corey Murdoch left the hospital, only to return a few minutes later. Sitting in the hall outside the admitting room, Dick Haggerty says irritably,
"What are you doing back, Corey? Thought you were so eager to be on your way to get back to the bus station and make your report."
Listen, I went across the street to the diner. That girl isn't there. Mason hasn't seen her.
Well, so what?
Well, for Pete's sake, she can't just have walked off into thin air. She didn't have any coat, any umbrella.
And you didn't get her phone number, is that it?
No, that's not it.
Well, what are you so hot and bothered about?
Listen, Haggerty, I know you hate to admit it because she knew what to do and you didn't. But if Harry and Billy pull through this thing okay, they'll have a lot to thank her for, not you.
Oh, Judas, you talk as if the town ought to give her a banquet or something.
Look, she knew what to do for those guys when we got to the plant. She knew how to bandage them up and everything. If it hadn't been because she had some spunk and courage, we'd all still be out there at the plant waiting for a doctor. And Lord only knows what would have happened to Harry and Billy then.
Okay, so that crazy scheme of hers worked. So we were able to get through that water and get back here to town. You can call it common sense. But it was just lucky, though, for her and the guys that are hurt that 1 chance in 100 worked.
Well, she had the nerve to take that chance, and it worked. I know it gripes you, and...
What gripes me, Corey, is the way you're acting. But I suppose you'd like to have your picture in the paper alongside of that good-looking babe. Men in plant accident saved by courageous action of valiant bus driver.
Well, it's a cinch she ought to have her picture in the paper. I just can't figure out why she'd walk off like this. Why she didn't say anything. Are you sure she didn't, Haggerty?
Look, all I know is what I told you. We drove up. You got out and went in for the doctor. And she said, well, they're all right now, or something like that, and...
And what?
Oh, I forgot. She handed me the sheet of paper, told me to give it to the doctor.
Well, for crying out loud. Let me see it.
No, you don't. She was writing this back in the bus. Said it was some kind of report. Asking a lot of questions about the accident. Well, I'm the plant foreman, and I'll make my own report. I'm not going to have any nosy dame.
What are you so nervous about?
I'm not nervous.
Yeah? The way you keep talking about that accident... Let me see that paper.
No, you don't, Murdoch. You've butted in enough already as it is.
You know something, Haggerty? I'm beginning to get really curious. There wouldn't be something a little sour about what happened out at the plant tonight. Or would there?
Listen, Junior, why don't you take that old bus of yours and blow?
I'm going to take a look at that paper she gave you. Now, listen, if you think I'm...
Quit yammering. I'm reading it. Well, I guess it's okay. Here, eager beaver.
What is it?
You were so anxious to see it, you tell me.
Seems to be some kind of medical stuff. Yeah, I think I get it now.
I guess she thinks she can even tell the doctors what to do.
Didn't she tell you anything else?
For the last time, Murdoch, she handed me that piece of paper, said to give it to the doctor, and left.
Dr. Cabot should have it. Have you seen him?
He's still in there with Wilkinson and Billy. And I imagine he's struggling along okay without any instructions from that bossy babe.
Listen, Haggerty, the way I figure, what she's written on that is what she did for the guys, what time they were hurt, stuff like that. And I think Dr. Cabot ought to have it.
I'll give it to him. But, what are you hanging around for? I thought you was in such a hurry.
Oh, yeah. Well, tell Dr. Cabot if he needs me, he can reach me through Weinert's at the depot.
He won't be needing you. I can answer any questions he has to ask.
Sure you can. But how will you answer them? That's what I'd like to know.
What do you mean by that?
Nothing. Be seeing you around, Haggerty.
Sure.
Yes, I know. All right, Dr. Cabot.
Miss Tucker.
Yes?
I'm Dick Haggerty, foreman at the Smith Cement Plant. The one out on highway number...
Yes, I know. What is it?
I just wanted to know how the fellows were getting along.
Well, they're hardly in a convalescent stage, Mr. Haggerty. It's a little too early to say anything.
It's bad, huh?
You should know that. You were at the accident. You brought them in.
Well, how long is the doc going to be in there?
Dr. Cabot will probably be with them all night. They're both going into surgery.
Well, in that case, I guess I might as well come back in the morning.
Dr. Cabot said he had some questions to ask you, didn't he?
Well, yeah, but...
Dr. Paul should be here soon, too. You'd better stay, Mr. Haggerty.
But... Okay. Say...
Yes?
I was supposed to give this to Dr. Cabot. Probably doesn't mean anything, but here.
Thanks. Harry Wilkinson, age 29, 8:10 p.m. Temperature, respiration. Where'd you get this?
From some lady who was a passenger on the bus. She gave us a hand with the first aid out at the plant. And then, driving back in the bus, she wrote that.
She came back with you in the bus?
Yeah.
But where is she?
She left just as soon as we got here, handed me that paper, told me to give it to the doc.
You certainly took your time about it, I must say.
Well, I forgot about it. Figured it was not too important. She was kind of the know-it-all type.
Well, she's the one who did those bandages on young Paulson. If she wrote this, she certainly did know what she was doing. What's her name?
Well? Seems to me I heard it mentioned. I guess not, though.
You say you're a foreman out at the plant?
Yeah.
I must say, you certainly take a great interest in the person who may well be responsible for saving the lives of those men who were in your charge. I don't suppose you have her address or know how we could get in touch with her.
No.
Well, there's one thing certain. She doesn't live in Elkhorn City. I know all the nurses here.
She's no nurse.
How do you know?
Oh, she was giving orders all over the place. I asked her how come. I asked her what right she thought she had to take over. If she'd have been a nurse, she would have said so, wouldn't she?
Well, yes, you'd think so. Certainly is strange.
The way I figure, she was just lucky she happened to do the right things. Why, during the war, lots of people learned first aid.
First aid. I know a professional bandage when I see one. And I know a professional report when I see one. I couldn't have written a better report myself. And that, Mr. Haggerty, is saying a great deal.
Well, all I can say is, she isn't no nurse or she would have said something about it for Pete's sake.
But Dick Haggerty is very wrong. A young woman who had been sought by the police might particularly wish to conceal the fact that she's a nurse. It was fear of people such as Dolly Mae Tucker, the head nurse. It was fear of having her professional status discovered that prompted Virginia Martin to leave quickly, as soon as they'd arrived at the hospital. Virginia Martin, who hopes to resume her journey, to leave town undetected, unnoticed. Virginia Martin, who, exhausted, drenched to the skin, walks into the lobby of the hotel. Virginia, who feels her hopes disappear as she recognizes the man who comes towards her.
Well, Miss Martin, I was just wishing I had someone to talk to have a drink with me. I must say meeting you here is quite a surprise. I might even say that it has all kinds of curious aspects.
Virginia Martin was quite aware of Dr. Gordon Foster's curiosity, but at the moment she was too numb with fatigue to care. And as Dr. Foster took in Miss Martin's disheveled appearance, her wet clothes, her white face, he wasn't satisfied just to speculate. He was determined to find out why she was at the hotel. You never know, Dr. Foster thought, what information is going to be useful.